Hello guys, welcome back to our channel Biolab. This is Vamsi here at Biolab. And in today's video, we'll be discussing about the sliding filament theory from the locomotion chapter, which is very important. Before going into the direct theory, I have to explain you some of the basic concepts. I'll be explaining you them. Then we'll be moving on to the theory jumping. So let us start. Make your notes if you want, or else listen to me very carefully. That's enough. So let's start today the sliding filament theory. Before seeing the sliding filament theory, we have to understand a little concept. See, actually we have muscle. Okay, I'm taking this is a muscle bundle, not muscle. This is actually a muscle bundle, and these all bundles together form a muscle. Now this is a muscle bundle. These all labeling, I hope you know the fascia, fasciculi. Muscle bundle is also called as fasciculi. So let's remove this. Fascicle. Okay, this is your fascia. The outer covering of the muscle is called as fascia. Now, each muscle bundle contains muscle fibers. Am I right? Each muscle bundle contains muscle fibers. These are your muscle fibers. See how they are arranged. They are arranged parallel to each other in a sequential order. Okay? See, these are your muscle bundles. Sorry, this is your muscle bundle, this is your muscle fiber. Remember, muscle fiber. And each muscle fiber is made up of many myofibrils. Okay, what are these? Many myofibrils. Each muscle fiber is made up of many myofibrils, and that we need. We do not need these for this theory, but we require the myofibril. Now, what is myofibril? See, this is how myofibrils look. A group of myofibrils I'm drawing, and these myofibrils together form your muscle fiber, and muscle fibers wrapped around the fascia form your fascicle. Okay, this is your muscle fiber, and this muscle fiber contains many striations. If it is a skeletal muscle, I'm talking about this skeletal muscle. Okay, this contains many striations which are known to be dark and light bands. See, dark bands and light bands, dark bands, light bands, and these striations form like this uniformly throughout the muscle fiber. Hence, the muscle fiber look striated in the skeletal muscles case, and that is why we call them as striated muscles or striped muscles. Okay, got it? Now, these striations are called as light and dark bands respectively. And what do these contain? First of all, the muscle contraction unit contains then what is muscle contraction unit? Let's talk a bit later. And these striations contain filaments, muscle filaments. What are those muscle filaments? We have just generally two muscle filaments. One is myosin, second one is actin, and the combination of these two filaments forms the striations here. How those combinations form the striation in the myofibril? Let us see now. How these combinations of myosin and actin form the striations in the muscle. Let us see now. Actually, what happens is myosin and actin structures, if you check it out, you will be having a head of myosin, and then the actin. Now let me draw the exact diagram which is given in our NCERT, and that would make you very clear how it looks like. See now, if you haven't get anything till now, wait for some time, you will be understanding everything. Wait for a little time. See now, this is your NCERT diagram which is mentioned. The same diagram I'm gonna draw here. I hope this is visible to you. Yes. This is the diagram. See here, this is the original muscle myofibril, and here this is the animated view of the myofibril. Now how these are available? See, this is your one Z line. What is the nature of Z line? Elastic. Remember, elastic Z line. Elastic Z line. The second one is here, the second Z line. This is your again one Z line, and the unit which is present between two successive Z lines is called as sarcomere, and it is the contraction unit of the muscle. It is the contraction unit of the muscle. Now onto the each side of this Z line you have the attachments of actin filaments. Okay, these are your actin filaments. These are your actin filaments onto the each side. Onto the each side. So like this. Those are your actin filaments again. Actin. See, these are your actin filaments. Now in between these two you have your myosin filaments. These are your myosin filaments. See, these are your myosin filaments. And these combinations form your A band and I band. Both A band and I band. What is I band? What is A band? Anisotropic band and isotropic band. Which is darker? Which is lighter? Is it anisotropic band or isotropic band is darker? Yes, anisotropic band is darker. Why? I'll be making you wait. I'll be making you clear. Isotropic is light. Why? Let's think now. Isotropic is light and anisotropic is darker band. Now what is A band? See, the full length of the myosin contains your A band. The full length, not the full length. Okay, from here, let me erase these. See, from here you start till here. This full length is your A band. The full length of the myosin. And the full length of the myosin is your A band. Okay, clear? Now, I band only consists of the actin filaments. I band. Got it? Got your answer? Why does A band appear darker when compared to I band? Lighter. Why? Did you get your answer? See, I band is only containing the actin filaments. The only the actin filaments. This part is your I band. The whole length of the actin filaments is your I band. From here to here. And the middle line is your Z line. This line which is dividing the I band is your Z line. And the part which is covering only the actin filament is your I band. So that is why it is appearing lighter. Now, so why are you saying this is darker? If this is lighter, okay, we accept since there is only actin filament. But why are we seeing this darker? Because here there are overlapping. See, sorry. 1 second, guys. This marker is not at all. Let's try this one. Yeah. See, there are overlappings here. There are overlapping of actin filament and myosin filament, which makes it this much darker, this area, and this is myosin filament, which is thick filament. If thick it has how much thick? This much thick. If you assume it, so thick always appear darker. Thick always appear into the fame. So thick always appear darker. So that is why myosin is thick. One reason, and also you find overlappings in the A band. And this overlapping region in the A band finds more darker than the non-overlapped region, that is only myosin region. And this only myosin region, my friends, we call the H band. The only myosin region which is present, which is lighter when compared to the overlapped region, we call it as the H band. I am making everything clear for you. The structure of myofibril. Without this, we cannot move to this sliding filament theory. And structure of myosin and actin also should be very clear to you. Then only I can move to the sliding filament theory. Got it now? Why does A band appear dark? One thing is myosin, it contains myosin which is thicker. The second thing is having overlapping regions of thinner and thicker bands. And thus overlapping regions appear more darker when compared to the non-overlapped H zone. Sorry, not H band, H zone. H zone. And I band, whereas coming to I band, it is thin. Like it only contains actin filaments. So actin filaments are thin when compared to myosin filaments. So that is why it is lighter. And also it is not having any overlapping regions, and the Z line part, it is darker. In the middle which is present, the Z line, it is darker. And as I said, the structure which is present between two successive Z lines is your sarcomere. This is your sarcomere. Now show you this part is your sarcomere. See this part. What are the components that sarcomere contains? Half I band, half I band. Okay, got it. Only half of the I band is shown. Next half comes into the next sarcomere. Half I band, one complete A band, one complete A band. See, half I band, one complete A band. See, this is actually 1/4 of I band. This is 1/4. 1/4, 1/4, half. Why 1/4 plus 1/4? कितना है भाई? 2/4. 1/2, half is right. So half I band and one full A band. 1/4, 1/4 of the I band is present on this side. Other quarter of I band is present on this side. Quarter plus quarter, half. Got your answer? So what does the contraction unit, that is your sarcomere, consist of? And that will be half I band, one A band. Half I band and one A band. It will be your answer. And what is the sarcomere first of all? It is the zone which is present between two Z lines. Two Z lines. Now what are these Z lines made up of? Elastic tissue. And there is a line which is called as M line in between, in the middle of A band. And this line is your M line. M line. Where is M line present? In between the A band. Whereas Z line is present in between the I band. Got it very clear? If you have any doubts, comment down. Comment down in the comment section if you haven't understood anything. If you haven't understood anything, comment down. Okay, got it? Now let's see the structure of myosin. Put the heading, structure of myosin. We'll be seeing the structure of myosin now. See, myosin, as I said, it is also called as thick filament. Thick filament, first of all. Now, how is the structure of myosin looking like this? Okay, I'm not a good artist here. So, on the board, not on books. Here, excuse me. Okay, these loops. Oi, one head is enough. No, two heads are present for myosin. It is like a snake. The second head, please adjust. Okay. Now, no. Diagram you just see in your NCERT. I'm drawing this for understanding. That's it. Only for understanding purpose. Okay. Please do not draw like this in your boards. There you go. And this myosin, interestingly, it contains a head part. Wait. Okay, now it's fine than before. Okay, there you go. Yeah. This head part, this is your head part. This is your head part of the myosin. That is your head part of the myosin, and this is your tail part of the myosin. Tail part, head part, and tail part, and this part is helping the myosin head to look up is your short arm or neck, which is the part of your body that helps your head to look up. The neck part. So here also the same, neck, or you call it as short arm. Okay, this short arm plus head gives you cross arm. Cross arm. What is cross arm in the sliding filament theory? Now this tail. This tail is made up of light meromyosin. Meromyosin is a component of myosin, and head is made up of heavy meromyosin. The same. The neck is also made up of heavy meromyosin. Now the story is that this contains two binding sites which are very important. One is the ATP binding site, and the second one is actin binding site. ATP binding site and actin binding sites. Now actin binding sites binds to the actin filament, and this ATP binding site is the site where the ATP sits and helps in providing the power stroke and recovery strokes. Okay, this is the structure of myosin which we have to remember. Now moving on to the structure of actin. So see this is a fast crash course or something you call it as, and this is only concept understanding lectures. These are what I so call, okay, this is self-existing. Yeah. Now the focus would clear. I haven't seen that. Okay. Now we are in the structure of actin. Put the heading structure of actin. Structure of actin. Now actin structure is very simple. See this. Draw your beads. I hope you have arranged beads in the form of necklace in your small ages. The girls would do more. Okay, moving further. Go, we wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. It is so confusing. Okay, let me make it very clear that this is called as your Z-actin. Each monomeric unit of F-actin is your G-actin, or as globular actin. Globular actin, and each globular actin polymerizes to form a filamentous actin, and this is the polymer called as F-actin or filamentous actin, and this F-actin I am representing with a box. Okay, now see. La 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 la. La la la. Okay, this is your F-actin, and each F-actin is made up of many monomers called as Z-actins. Sorry, G-actin. Now, what is the difference between myosin and actin in the structure itself? It is seen very clearly that this doesn't contain any head. Any head is not present in the actin, and head is present in the myosin. Now, this filamentous actin is not only the component of actin, rather it contains many other components, and those components are: one is your troponin. Okay, before going into troponin, let us talk about tropomyosin. Okay, tropomyosin. Yes, I am right. Just checking. Okay, this one let us draw like this. See, the NCERT representation is different. I am using my own representation. Please do not confuse between tropomyosin and actin while seeing your NCERT. La la la. Zui, zui, zui. Wee, 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 wee. Just trying to imitate Alexer. Never mind. Alexer, my favorite. Good. Okay. Now these are your tropomyosin. Tropomyosin. And at regular intervals, this is your NCRT line. At regular intervals, we have extra proteins called as troponins, and these triangular parts which I am representing is your troponins. Is your troponins. Troponins. And this troponin consists of three subunits. This troponin consists of three subunits. These are TNC, TNI and TNT. This is not mentioned in your NCRT. Please do not worry. Just out of my interest, I am teaching you. Now, TNC, the calcium binding site. Calcium binding site. TNT, the head of the myosin binding site. Okay. Am I right? Yes. Head of myosin binds to the part of TNT. Calcium binds to the part of TNC, and TNI, it is just an inhibitor. Now leave this. This is not at all important. Sorry, this is not the binding site for head of myosin. It is the binding site. What I am telling. It is the binding site for the tropomyosin. That's what I am checking. That why it is still present. Yes. Now it is clear. The binding site of tropomyosin on the troponin is your TNT part. It is not mentioned in your NCRT once again. See. TNT, TNC, TNI. TNI, leave it aside. TNC and TNT. Now what happens is, initially, if you think this is your troponin, this sponge which has come out is your calcium binding site, and this is your tropomyosin. Then what happens is, this is your TNT, this black color part. This tropomyosin binds to the TNT initially, masking the active sites for the binding of what? Myosin head. Masking the active sites for the binding of myosin head. Actually, actin contains the active sites for binding of myosin head, and this tropomyosin binds or masks the active sites by binding to the TNT site of the troponin. Okay. Now, whenever muscle wants to contract, calcium ions from the sarcoplasmic reticulum are released. Now, the storehouse of calcium ions in the muscle, not in the body, but rather in the muscle, is your sarcoplasmic reticulum. Hole in the body is your bone. Now, sarcoplasmic reticulum releases calcium ions which sit on this TNC part, calcium binding site, and whenever this calcium sits here, this tropomyosin detaches from its binding site. When it is detaching, the site, active site for the myosin head is free, and now the myosin head can bind to this active site and it can contract. How it contracts? Now in the sliding filament theory. Got it all of you? Got it all of you? Very clear? Yes. If you have any doubt, please comment down in the comment section below. Once again, I am repeating every day, but no doubt in the comment section. Yes. Now, sliding filament theory, put the heading, very important topic. Next, I will be taking up the neural control and coordination in this chapter, in this video only. We will be completing the, what you call, the generation of impulse. That topic seems, for me, it is particularly a little hard, a little tough to understand, so that is why I am also taking that. Sliding filament theory. Now start. What? Now start to make actin filaments like this and myosin filaments like this. Okay. Now what happens? As I said, tropomyosin unmasks the active site, and after the tropomyosin unmasks the active site for 1 minute, guys. Yeah. Now what happens is, here we have ATP binding site and also we have the actin binding site on the myosin head. Now whenever the CNS releases signals impulses, acetylcholine, actually it is H or CO, just remember, acetylcholine and neurotransmitter. Actually this is a chemical synapse, rather it is not a electrical synapse. So we have the use of neurotransmitter. Here the neurotransmitter at the neuromuscular junction is your acetylcholine. And when this acetylcholine is released, it stimulates the release of calcium ions from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. And when the sarcoplasmic reticulum releases the calcium ions, and these calcium ions come and sit on the TNC part, and this tropomyosin unmasks the active site for the myosin head to bind to the actin filament. And when for binding we require energy. Yes, it's in the chemistry also you have learned, for bond formation you require energy, for bond breaking energy is not required, energy is released. So here we are trying to make new bonds, so that is why energy is released, and ATP is hydrolyzed. What is hydrolyzed? Broken down. And when the ATP is broken down, it sits here. Okay. When the ATP is broken down, what happens is this actin filament binding site binds to the myosin head binds to the actin filament with the actin binding site, with the help of actin binding site here on the myosin head. Now what happens? As soon as this binds to this, another ATP is hydrolyzed and it gives a power stroke. See, this is your Z line, this is your actin filament, this is your this is your myofibril. Now it just gives a power stroke. See, it pushes here like this, the myosin, it pushes. While pushing the actin, the Z lines come closer, ATP gets used, and as this Z lines come closer, the H band decreases, A band remains the same. These Z lines come closer until the two I bands meet each other, but they do not meet. Until they meet each other, they come closer, and A band remains the same. H band disappears, H zone disappears, and as soon as the power stroke is given, muscle contracts, sarcomere contracts. If sarcomere contracts, it is a contraction unit of muscle, so hence muscle contracts. Now therefore, once the power stroke is given, again for binding, a ATP molecule comes and sits here, and when the ATP molecule comes and sits here, this actin binding site is free, and now this experiences a recovery stroke. The myosin experiences a recovery stroke. Again binding, power stroke, recovery, binding, power stroke, recovery, binding, power stroke, recovery, contraction. Contract. Got it? This is the sliding filament theory. Why are we calling this as sliding filament theory? Here what is happening? Actin filament is sliding over myosin filament. Thin filament is sliding over thick filament. A band remains the same, H zone disappears, I band remains the same. I bands come close. Length of the filaments does not change, but the band length changes. This is a very important statement where you generally confuse. Length of the filaments does not at all change. Very important statement. Very important statement. This is not directly mentioned in our NCRT. Okay. There is no line mentioning that in the NCRT. We have to understand it. Very clear. Length of the filament does not change. If at all it is present in NCRT, it is well and good. If not, remember it. This is important. Very important. Okay, this is all about the sliding filament. Why are we calling it a sliding filament? Filaments are sliding over each other. Got it? Any doubt? Comment down. Any doubt? Comment down. Now we have completed the locomotion important topics. Now we will be moving on to the next part of the locomotion is all about the skeletal system, which you have to study. While studying skeletal system, here is my hint. Use your body for studying skeletal system. How? See, for suppose I am studying about forearm. I am studying about upper limb. Upper limb has 30 bones. Okay, upper limb has 30 bones. Now here I have the humerus and humerus with the hinge joint. See, with the help of hinge joint. Have you ever seen a door? How the door behaves? It is a hinge joint. It is a hinge joint. Let me show you an example of small example of hinge joint. See, here is a hinge. For suppose, think like that. See, I'm only able to move this way. I'm not able to swivel it over. See, I'm not able to swivel it over. I'm just able to move like this. This is the part of your hinge joint. This is the function of your hinge joint. Whereas I take pivot joint, I'm able to move my head freely any direction I want, except the back side. Okay. And if you take the ball and socket, why ball and socket is much familiar in movement? Let me show you that. Where is my ball? My cricket ball. Okay, 1 minute, guys. Let me search for my cricket ball. I'll be coming back. So, guys, see. Let me explain you this one thing. That is your ball and socket joint. Here I have the ball. This is your head of humerus here. Actually, this is your head of humerus. This is your glenoid cavity here, like this. Okay, this is like this. But for our convenience, what I have did is, so this is your ball which is fixed. Actually, this ball with the help of the glenoid cavity, it moves like this. Now, see, ball and socket, I am able to freely move. See how I am able to freely move? Okay. Lift your hands up. You're talking in the class. Okay. Down your hands. Now, do drill. Up, down. So this is how the ball and socket joint works, and in reality, this is how it works. The ball is not moving. The humerus is not moving. Together, the ball is simply the head of humerus. Together are placed in the glenoid cavity here. This is your glenoid cavity, my hand, and they are helping you to move. The ball is moving in place of glenoid cavity like this. Got it, my dears? Got it, my dear friends? Very important to understand. That is your ball and socket joint, hinge joint, ball and socket joint, and a saddle joint here. See, this is the exception. All rest fingers only like this, but this can be moved in any direction like this. Okay, this is because of the saddle joint. Next one, you have carpals. In carpals you have gliding joint. Next one, here also hinge joint near the phalanges. What? Ball and socket joint, saddle joint, hinge joint. So those all. Next one, carpals. All those you have to learn with the help of our body. So that ball and socket was a simple demonstration, so that is why I have made it for you in order to you may remember. Now moving on to our neural control and coordination, but before that, a little water. Okay, good. Now let us move on to the neural control and coordination, that is the generation. Impulse. Generation of impulse. This topic is very easy. Particularly, I like this topic because, see, I felt it very hard when I read it for the first time. Suddenly, when I read it for the second time, I felt it little easy, and the third time reading, when I did, it felt very easy. Nothing happens. This is your axoplasm. Sorry, this is your axon. For say, suppose the membrane is called as axolemma. Axolemma. The inside cytoplasm is called as exoplasm. Exoplasm. Now here you have to understand three words. Sorry. Three words. One is resting potential. Okay. One is your resting potential. Two is your action potential. And when they are developed, you have to see. Other one is resting state, depolarization, repolarization. These three make much difference in this topic. Depolarization, repolarization, and resting state. If you have visited the previous video, I have clearly said you that what is depolarization, what is repolarization, contraction, relax. Contraction and relaxation. But here the depolarization and repolarization differ. Depolarization and repolarization differ. How? Let me show you. This is your axolemma, this is your exoplasm. Remember in your minds. Remember in your cerebrum. Why cerebrum? Memory center is your cerebrum. Okay. Okay. What is resting potential or resting phase? During the resting condition, nerve fiber, the actual tendency of nerve fiber is it is impermeable to axolemma. This axolemma is nearly impermeable to sodium ions. It is nearly impermeable to sodium ions. So what happens is these sodium ions remain in the outside. Here it is permeable to negative ions and K plus. K plus and negative ions move in more than that of the K plus. More negative ions accumulate on the side of the axolemma. On the side of the axolemma, more negative charges appear, and on the outside you have more positive charges. And this state is called as polarized state. This state of the muscle, the exoplasm is called as your polarized state. This state is called as your polarized state. Okay. Now these ionic gradients across the resting membrane are maintained by see, what happens is always here you have potassium pumps which transport this potassium like this. Okay, here, okay, and remove this potassium. Potassium, more concentration present in the inner side. Okay, potassium concentration is more in the inner side. Negative ion concentration is also more in the inner side than the outer side. More concentration of Na plus ions and positive concentration on the outer side. Now, my dear children, in order to maintain this ionic balance, potassium ions, as they are freely permeable, they move out. In order to maintain this balance, we have the actively working pumps called as sodium potassium pumps, which pump every 3 Na plus out for every 2 K plus in. This is very important. This is done by sodium potassium pump. Okay, sodium potassium pump or potassium sodium pump, whatever you call it as. This pumps every 3 Na plus out from the inside or from axoplasm to the outside of the axoplasm to a K plus in to the axoplasm, and this maintains the gradient that K plus concentration is more inside and Na plus concentration is more outside when compared to the inner side, and this is called as polarized state or resting phase. This is during the resting phase. Now see what happens. Now look what happens. Generally, my friend, what he does is, his hands are not always free. His hands high up, his hands are itching. Now what he does, he tries to pinch us. He's pinching. Ouch! He's pinching me. Now how I am getting that pain? How I am able to sense that pain? Because whenever a stimulus of pinch is applied at this side, say for suppose, at this side I am applying a stimulus, and this side is, let me name according to NCERT, that is your A side. Now whenever the stimulus is applied here, the scenario reverses. Now this not is a resting phase. Let me say you that the whole scenario replaces, or whole scenario reverses. Before, this membrane was freely permeable to K plus ions and nearly impermeable to Na plus ions. Now what happens is, this membrane here at the site of the stimulus application, it freely is permeable to Na plus rather than K plus. This membrane, now what happens is, here at the site of the stimulus, Na plus come in and negative charges go out. See, this was the resting phase. Leave this now. This was the resting phase. Actually, the same thing happens here, but I'm telling you this for your comparison. At the site of stimulus application, the whole scenario reverses. The membrane becomes freely permeable to Na plus rather than K plus. Now, when the membrane becomes freely permeable to Na plus, the Na plus ions come in. In order to maintain the gradient, what happens is, this K plus ions move out. This K plus ions and negative charge move out. Now what happens? Inner membrane becomes positive. Outer membrane becomes negative. Am I right or wrong? Outer membrane is becoming negative. Inner membrane is becoming positive. I don't know what is happening. Here the polarity has been reversed. Here the polarity has been disturbed and reversed. What do you call this situation as? Yes, depolarization. Once again I am repeating, bacho. Depolarization. Very important. Depolarization. D means destroy. Remember, D every time means destroy. D means destroy polarization. What was the polarization? What was the polarized? Polarity before, inner negative, outer positive. Now depolarization has come and destroyed the polarity, made the outer membrane negative, inner membrane positive. Arre Baba, what is this? And now here appears the potential gradient. That is, here it is negative. Still here it is negative. The side where the stimulus has not been applied. Here it is positive. Now what is happening? Positive, negative. In your electricity, this happens. This potential gradient which is developed here is called as your action potential as per your electrostatics or moving charges. I hope not electrostatics. Since this charge is moving, see, this action potential which is generated here due to the reversal of signs, that is called as action potential. And in our biological terminology, we call it as nerve impulse. Nerve impulse. Someone pinch me. Nerve impulse is generated. How? Na plus move in, K plus move out. Na plus move in, K plus move out. Depolarization takes place. Depolarization comes, destroys the polarity, forms the new polarity. Now, our muscle will not accept this. Once this action potential has been generated throughout the muscle, not throughout the muscle, rather at the place the action potential has been generated. What happens is this impulse travels. This impulse travels. This impulse travels, and this impulse is nothing but your electrical current. This impulse is nothing but your current. Generally, this travels from A to B, and when it comes to B, the same scenario as A. Now A becomes normal again. A becomes normal, and B situation becomes as if new stimulus is applied here. No stimulus is applied at this B site as your NCRT. This is your A, this is your B, and no stimulus. Where even though no stimulus is applied here, it behaves as if the stimulus is applied due to the transfer of electrical charges, flow of electrical charges in this direction. Now, I have destroyed. I have been destroyed, and my side person is like that. He's increasing. What I do? I step on him, and I decrease him. Now, what is the condition that what I can do in order to destroy this fellow also? In order to destroy this polarity also, I can do is I can transfer my electrical charges. Now my friends are electrical charges and nerve impulses. Nerve impulses goes it here. Again polarity reverses. Now my hero depolarization. My friend, he destroys the polarity, right? Depolarization destroys the polarity. Again impulse is generated here. Now again same thing. The side B also thinks I am sitting, but my friend is developing. I don't like this. Now let me again send my friend, which my enemy has sent on me. Let me send him there. Okay, go look depolarization. That fellow is free. Okay, this is my friend here. Introducing my friend. Okay, this friend is sitting here. Go depolarization. He is free. Now I tell you depolarization. Go there. He's free. No depolarization comes here. This depolarization disturbs his polarity also. He is unstable, and the action potential is generated all throughout the nerve fiber. This way only the action potentials are transported. Now sir, you have also tell about this. You have to also tell what I have to tell this. See, depolarization destroying, repolarization regaining. Regaining polarity is repolarization. Destroying polarity is depolarization. Understand very clearly. Destroying polarity is depolarization. Restoring is repolarization. And the starting state is your, my marker fell down, is your resting phase. Now this is your generation of impulse. This is your generation of impulse, and this is how the impulses travel all throughout the axonal membrane. But how the impulses travel into the from one neuron to the other neuron, or from one neuron to the muscle. How this happens? Now let us see that. It is very simple. It happens to synapses generally. We have two types of synapses, electrical and chemical synapse. Electrical synapse, this is all. But I have to tell you the components of synapses. That is very easy. Let me tell you. The easy part I am doing. Okay, no problem. Okay, see this. Got it? What are these? Presynaptic neuron. My father is watching some Telugu movie and the sound is heard, I hope. Postsynaptic neuron. Pre. Hey Baba, my father joined me in preschool. What preschool? Before LKG. Before LKG preschool. And they say that this is a kind of a place for play. I come here. Teacher teaches me ABCD, and I go to the LKG. There also they teach me ABCD. Arey Baba, what is this life? No. Pre-synaptic neuron. The synaptic neuron which is present first in the synapse. This is your synapse, guys. In the synapse we have different parts. One is your presynaptic neuron, the second one is your postsynaptic neuron, and between these presynaptic and postsynaptic you have your cleft, synaptic cleft, and this synaptic cleft is present in the chemical synapse, absent in the electrical synapse. Why? Electrical synapses are very close, so that impulse transition occurs very fast, and these electrical synapses are very rare. See, which is best is also very rare. Which is best is always rare. AIMS Delhi seat is rare. AIMS Delhi seat is rare, but the college beside your house seat is very easy to get. Not very easy, but easy when compared to AIMS Delhi. Best is always rare. Diamonds are rare. They are costlier. But silver is available at lower price. So same thing. The best is rare. The more availability is not much costlier. These are present only in the cranial and spinal nerves, and these are present all over the body. These are very much present in the brain, which requires them. I have to transfer impulses faster because a man has to think. Without me, you are not present. So that is why I require the rarest one. So I purchase with more money. Give me the rarest one. Okay, take it, restore body. Without brain, restore body is not there. So it sacrifices it. Now, electrical impulses are permitted to only what? What guys? Electrical impulses are only permitted to cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Other peripheral nerves contain chemical synapses. So electrical synapses, about this is enough, but in our syllabus chemical synapse is very important. Now this presynaptic neuron contains some halo balls, and these halo balls are called as vesicles. These vesicles contain chemical substances. And these chemical substances, when released, are called as neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters. What happens? How this neurotransmitter is released? Arey Baba, tell me, here there are no receptors. Where should I sit? So there are receptors on the postsynaptic neuron, and this is the very famous question. Where are receptors for the neurotransmitters located? Postsynaptic neuron. Now what happens is impulse travels here in the same pathway. Depolarization, all throughout the length of the axonal membrane comes here. I traveled whole length of axon. I require some rest. Okay, take rest. We will work. Now, when the impulses reach here, the vesicles get activated, and they tend to move towards the surface of the presynaptic membrane. Presynaptic neuron membrane. This is the presynaptic membrane. This is the postsynaptic membrane, and these vesicles come here. Sit on this presynaptic. Sit on this. Now vesicles are here, and these contain chemical, and these release these chemicals. These release these chemicals into the cleft. These are your neurotransmitters. Now give me an example of neurotransmitter. Acetylcholine, I have just said you. It is a neurotransmitter in the neuromuscular junction between neuron and muscle, skeletal muscle. And now what happens whenever these neurotransmitters are released? Hey, my friends are coming. Okay, let's open the gates for them. Okay, receptors open. Receptors. These neurotransmitters bind to the receptors, and these receptors and the postsynaptic cleft again converts this chemical signal into the electrical signal, and again depolarization, traveling, going. And when it is an electrical synapse, you have no formation of chemical. There is no cleft directly. In the same way, repolarization happens across the electrical synapses also. The important thing is where electrical synapses are present, where chemical synapses are present. Electrical synapses are present in the cranial and spinal nerves, and it is present in the brain mostly. Best is the rare. Remember that best is the rare always. And that is today's human physiology, and this is the last day of human physiology. I will be posting in the community tab. Or in the community tab I will be posting. Please wait for that. After this video uploads, I will be posting it soon for the chemical control and coordination, the whole list of hormones, their use and all. I have written it. Please adjust with the handwriting. And this is Vamsi signing off. If you like the video, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel Biolab India, and also turn on that bell notification in order to get immediate notifications whenever I upload a new video. Thank you. Bye bye guys. Hope you support.